And a good Saturday afternoon to you. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com. They represent 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda. They are all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. You're looking at the current snow depths across the country right now. Big snowfall in the making right now. This is the culprit, area of low pressure with a lot of rain. Looks like we're going to see the rain mix line get up into, looks like the very southern part of Vermont. And the model trends have been to bring this back a little further to the north after a few days ago pushing it a little further to the south. This is an area we'll still need to watch. For all the details on this, please make sure you follow the latest heads up. Heads up number 6 is the most recent, as well as the alert that'll be issued a little bit later on this afternoon. This is a warm frontal boundary currently right now. This is sort of an extension of the storm system and not really a part of it. The main area to watch with the heavier snow is going to be back here. And this is what will be arriving, it looks like, for the most part, after around 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, starting in southern parts of Vermont, but really engulfing just about all of northern New England. We're going to start with the extended HRRR model, and you can see that warm frontal genesis producing some snow across Vermont, with the main storm system working its way closer and closer. This is valid about 8 o'clock this evening. Some of the snowfall rates should be picking up, probably at the rates of between 1 and 3 inches per hour in parts of southern Vermont. You can see where those darker blues are showing up. And we'll watch the rain-snow mix line with freezing rain and mostly sleet across our very southern counties. This then pushes through the region, looks like during the morning hours tomorrow. You can see it there. And then pushes out during the afternoon, changing everything back to a little bit of snow, a little tiny bit of mix on the back end, but mostly snow. And this is snow to water ratios of 15 to 1, indicating the dry snow. And you can see these are 6 hourly increments, and this is total accrued snowfall. And this is precipitable water. This is valid 1 o'clock. And you can see the really rather rare and high amounts, 3 to 5 sigma of standard deviation of the PWatts, or precipitable water. And I feel this is a large part of this intense snowfall that we're going to see. Is just a lot of things have come together there with this amount of moisture working in. Of course, we do dry out as we get into the middle part of the week. However, we have another shot of moisture coming at us, and that is the system that's building through the Ohio Valley. And unfortunately, this is going to come in with a mild intrusion. You got that standard signature of an anticyclonic kind of deal here, and typically these produce mixed precipitation events when you see them, and sometimes they can set up for an extended period of freezing rain. In this particular case, it looks like just a travel problem. This is going to be Wednesday night, and as we get into Thursday, you can see another pretty fabulously looking high sigma here. Again, about, looks like around 5 standard deviation. Here's our storm system. And we get into Monday with some gusty northwest winds along the backside. Not a utility issue per se, but there will be some wind gusts as high as isolated amounts to 50 miles an hour, mostly at the summits and immediately to the east-southeast of the southern Green Mountains. And then high pressure builds in for a little bit of a break as we get into Tuesday. And then beyond that, we have our wetter system. And you can see how it's setting up elongated with that very strong area of higher pressure sort of pushing everything as like a bubble. And that moisture then rotates north along its any counterclockwise or clockwise circulation in this case, and then mostly moves offshore, luckily. But we are looking at a mild intrusion and some mixed precipitation. Later down the period there, we're looking at some very cold weather again, and an area of higher pressure associated with that will build in with another blast of Arctic air and some Arctic chill. Okay, we're looking at the GFS ensemble, and you can see the amount of precipitation with this first storm here, roughly between 1 and 1.5 inches, about 1.25, somewhere in that area. And for QPF, And looking at the 3-hourly QPF, easily signified, this is going to be, of course, all snow for most of Vermont. Southern counties, very far southern areas around Route 9, we'll see a little bit of a mix. It does not look like a huge utility issue, however. That's the good news here. We dry out a little bit, and we get into the next weather system. That will be a mild intrusion, and likely more of a travel issue, and not as much a utility issue. But we'll have to watch it carefully. Now, looking at winds, generally, I'm looking at 40 to 50 knots here. They do peak out with the winds here. This is, again, centered on Montpelier, but kind of gives you a good estimate. For the most part, we're looking at a little bit of gradient wind thresholds to approach, but nothing real serious at this point. We'll have to watch this one here, where the outliers are starting to be picked up here by the GFS ensemble, and that would be well around a corner along about the 24th or so. Pretty good gradient of precipitation on this this current storm system, and that really shows up here with the Weather Prediction Center. You can see some pretty high amounts of precipitation associated with this storm, and then it dries out further to the north and west. This is the 1-inch line. We're talking about 1.5, 2 inches. We're getting into 2.5 to 3 inches here. It looks like 3 inches. This is 850 hectopascal, about the top of Mount Mansfield. We're looking at the temperature, and this being the 0 degree isotherm, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So all precipitation would fall below that. However, the European is not indicating that, and the GFS ensemble is trying to keep it all snow. That would be a very good thing. We root for this model. I showed you the 3 to 5 sigma of extreme or rare amount of moisture in the atmosphere. The GFS ensemble is not indicating that, but this is centered on Montpelier, and we're only looking around 5/10 and a little bit more as we get into that milder intrusion that's ahead. Now, GFS ensemble is starting to indicate that there is some mixed precipitation involved with that system too. And this is the snow amount. You can see generally 12 to 14 inches predicted at Montpelier by the GFS ensemble, and minor amounts thereafter. 2-meter temperatures, again at Montpelier, show the warmest weather coming in with that milder intrusion. Again, the European has that closer to 40 degrees. GFS ensemble closer to 32. Weighted 5-day temperatures, maximum temperatures. The meteorological output statistics here show that we're running about 3 to 6 degrees, or 6 to 9 degrees below normal for this time of year. And 3 days later, we're looking at near neutral conditions, but a lot of the country is going to go below normal here, as colder air is going to be pushing into the region. A quick look at the climate reanalyzer. You can see where the cold air is. Cooling in the Arctic, and Arctic is up 1.7 degrees above, and this is maybe some signs, early signs now of the sudden stratospheric warming event getting down in the troposphere and finally affecting the Arctic. You see the colder air is spilling in and across this particular area of North America. It's very, very warm across Asia. That's it from here, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.